Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new edition of VCTV. Today, we have a very special topic. It's about how to market your startup. I'm Edu Niculescu. I'm your host today, filling in for Kyle. And I have with me Nicole Demio, who will open this panel today. Hello, Nicole. How are you? Do a little intro and a background, please.
Sure. Hi, Adrian. Thanks for hosting us today, and thanks to LA Token and VCTV for having us. This is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, as I am a career marketer. So I like to say that I wear a couple different hats, and one of them is that I have been a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, on demand for the better part of my career. And so I have been helping companies position for growth, investment, and exit, whether that might be an IPO or M&A event. I have my firm, Outfront Solutions, provides branding, marketing, go-to-market strategies, business development for companies. We tend to work a lot with companies in the basically the B and later stages of their growth. And I will, a lot of times it's reimagining their brand or international expansion, those types of things. We also do provide business development as a service. So we're always thinking about what are the results of marketing, not just marketing for brand awareness and things like that, but really marketing for growth and valuation and those types of things that startups, hopefully, you all care about. So I'm excited to talk about this topic. The other hat that I wear regularly is that I'm also in venture capital. I have am a partner of a couple funds. One of them is called How Women Invest. And so we check it out. It's a fund that invests in female founded and led companies. And I also am a venture partner in a fund called Seed Milestone Fund. And so it brings me great joy to sit on both sides of the table, understand what's needed for marketing. And if you're in fundraising mode, which it seems like startups are very often in that mode, I, I love it. I love the topic, and I'm here to provide my 25 plus year career and impart whatever knowledge and get into conversation with you all.
This thing with wearing many hats is a common thing to us at VCTV, and
Yeah.
I'm a sales, marketing, and business development guy, and I'll always connect marketing with sales, because marketing without
Yeah.
sales, when I mean sales, I mean product sales, service sales, and even get funding, because getting funding is a sale process. You 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 make a proposal, you sell a dream, you sell the future to the investor, and if your pitch is congruent with the investor's interest, you may get funding. um,
Yeah.
which are the most important things you are seeing as happening different due to the COVID pandemic? Because this affected all areas of businesses. Some businesses were in advantage due to COVID, other in disadvantage. But why? What are you seeing different, which is relevant to the marketing of a startup due to the COVID happening?
Yeah, I think that's an important question, and the founders and CEOs and marketers that I'm working with all have to adopt a lot of marketing technology. right? So we've gone from, no matter what aspect of your business may have been in the physical form, whether you were doing meetings or actually events and all these different types of things, you've needed to transform your business in, digitally, right? So marketers have had to adopt a lot of digital transformation for their businesses. And so we're seeing every part of the marketing process is really a technical discipline. And so whether that's not only, the basic stuff of connecting and hosting meetings and maybe even brainstorming on platforms like Zoom, you're doing, like, from every point in the marketing mix, you're needing to leverage technology to help you execute. So, for example, my firm Outfront Solutions, we have done a number and just actually got engaged in another um, product research and product development project where we are doing things like online surveys and focus groups on Zoom, really talking people through potential brand strategies and or really specific aspects of a product to get feedback so that the go to market is very clear, right? And that we are de-risking the product market fit by doing proper research. Again, all of this online. um, I have fallen in love with a specific technology. It's called topic intelligence, and it's leveraging artificial intelligence to understand what real people are searching for. It's not just about impressions and bots and, who knows what's going on there. But this technology actually tells you what topics people care about online, and that can guide you with the type of content that you need for across the marketing mix. So across your website, for social media, for PR, for paid advertising, whatnot. So I'm loving the adoption of AI technology to teach us what content and topics are important. So those are just some of the marketing automation and tech stack tools that are important. I'm also a huge fan of establishing OKRs and KPIs, and those are objectives and key results, and then key performance indicators. And there are great tools to track that for your marketing planning and to make sure that your team is in alignment with your marketing objectives and key performance indicators. And then those tools like Week Done and Zocli, those connect into things like HubSpot, your CRM, and Google Analytics to help track and see how you're really doing. So I'm a super fan and big nerd when it comes to marketing automation and the marketing tech stack. And I think that is the way that marketing is changed forever. And we've always needed to be adopting technologies as marketers, and now more than ever.
I would like to add something to what you've just said. Thank you very much for your inputs. I
Yeah, I
saw
know,
that
Adrian, you have a deep background in technology and marketing, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on that too.
um, I see because during this period, many people became stranded at home. The communities, the online communities, and the sense of belonging to a community
Yeah,
became more important than ever. VCTV La Token is a community, is an educational project gathering
yeah,
together experts, investors, entrepreneurs, people willing to learn. It's like an MBA in all these things, and this sense of belonging is more important than ever. It wasn't like that.
yeah,
It wasn't so so powerful before the pandemic as the pandemic period as it is today. Also, um, for example, there are a lot of artificial intelligence tools for copywriting, let's say. So, based on your audience, you can create a sales page, you can create an opt-in page, an email marketing campaign. Do you believe in these copy paste solutions, or still the humans are needed to craft all these pieces? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so I might be old school in that one way, right? I love adopting technologies, and I'm a big fan of what they can do for us. But I think in the end, when it comes to developing content, really the richest and best content is developed by people. You can get great feeds. You can, maybe amass great research online. But when it comes to quality content, and I'm talking about ebooks and white papers and that type of thing, I do strongly believe that we need to do that, as people, and that it's apparent that writing skills are in short supply. And I have been working with a number of clients where I literally, my team of writers needs to come in and just revamp either a lot of what has already been written, or make sure that the research is pulled together and strung together in a way that really adds value for people. Because in the end, all we want to do is add some value to our audience, you know, and really give them a reason to uh, to you know see my clients as thought leaders, and having value in their lives. These companies and brands need to continually think about adding value. um, and Adrian, just to riff off of what you were saying about community, that's absolutely one of the most important and powerful things right now, it for marketers, right? And there are so many communities out there. You mentioned LA Token, and this community. I'm a part of How Women Lead, in that community. And we spun our fund out of that, alongside of that organization. And that's an organization of 20,000 women. And we created the fund How Women Invest, and we were able to raise a fund quickly in community, never ever having a single meeting in person, right? And then market that, and get the word out about that fund, and get entrepreneurs to, you know, come to the website and see if there's a fit to hopefully, fund their companies. Another one is Leadership Global. And Linda Fisk created this community, and it's really amazing. And in that community, actually, my business partner, Janine Moss, and I teach a marketing class, and it's free, and it's once a month. And and you get us, so you get 25 years of experience, and you get to network with all the people in the class. And so you can really learn and build community and build your base, that way. um, Another one I belong to is the Association for Corporate Growth, and that's for middle market companies, and they've got quality webinars and constant education. So it's not only on the education side, on the marketing side as well. If you're doing B2B, those are great communities. And then B2C, the communities are there for you. So I think it's an imperative that we're marketing and working in community. And as you mentioned, have that sense of belonging, because it's so dramatically missing. And being an entrepreneur is lonely anyway, right? Um,
Correct.
it's just a lonely process. You just feel so completely on an island. And then doing it during COVID, I mean, you know, big props to all of you out there who are building your companies and realizing your dreams, because it can feel very lonely. But getting community, as Adrian recommended, and I strongly do as well.
When marketing a startup, I see two main directions. So marketing the startup to sell products and services to the clients and also other stakeholders for partnerships, and also marketing the startup to investors. You are
Mhm.
saying that you work mostly with I don't know, series A, series B type of startups. I believe in our audience there are a lot of entrepreneurs at the beginning of their journeys as
Yeah,
founders, as
yeah,
project creators. So how they can actually start filling the gap, because when they are at the beginning of this journey, the information is overwhelming. So they see the successful exits, they see the successful campaigns, the successful raises, but they start from very little. And which are the most important steps to fill the gap, to start filling the gap between where they are right now, so at the beginning of the journey, with maybe
hmm
little funds, bootstrapping, um, not knowing what to do, so to advance a little bit, because many, I believe, they are stuck at this stage, and sometimes they remain stuck forever, and maybe they quit because they don't know what to do. And I believe
yeah.
at this stage is very important to have some guidance about what to do. So which are the most important steps to follow uh, right from the start?
Yeah, I appreciate that journey, and I have been on it several times myself. I'm not only a career marketer, but I've also started a number of businesses and am a serial entrepreneur as well. And in that process, a lot of times it is overwhelming. It's like, where do you start? One of the things is to take advantage of these free resources. If you're watching this, you're smart, right? Because you're taking advantage of a free resource that can provide knowledge and information. Take our free marketing class, that we're doing via Leadership Global. If you follow me on LinkedIn, and mention the show, let's connect, and you'll see that free resource. But join in communities, take advantage of free resources. And then a lot of times, what I find for early stage entrepreneurs is it's super helpful to find some sort of incubation community, right? There are a lot of incubators that provide, guidance and mentors. And I'm going to come back to the topic of mentors because I think that's a critical one. Um, so, so I really encourage you all to join in community in an incubator. And there are incubators that are focused on all different types of markets, right? So, say you have a marketplace, a food marketplace. Well, there's a great incubator for you. And incubators don't only have to be in person, right? They can be and providing lots of online resources. So they can provide a little bit of funding sometimes, usually master classes and knowledge transfer like this. So I'm a big fan of getting into community and an incubator. It also is nice because you'll have an opportunity to banter with other entrepreneurs, and it's just like if you're having a struggle one day in and around something, there's nothing better than being able to troubleshoot it with a peer. So I really strongly recommend getting into and involved in incubators. Also, find a mentor or two. Find people with domain expertise in your market area, and engage them and seek information from them. Usually, if you provide some structure and just say, may I speak with you maybe every other week for 30 minutes, you know, and just put yourself out there and ask for that mentorship. And those people could eventually become your advisors. They could become your board members. But those are some of the early stage, solo founder, entrepreneur, tap into the resources, tap into the guidance and mentorship that's out there.
And do you think that you can be born with marketing skills? It's the same question that if you are born with entrepreneurship skills, or everything is learnable. What do you think?
In terms of being an entrepreneur and a marketer, um, I think I think there's part of it is almost genetically based. I will say, and I will admit something right here, that I was a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader when I was 7 years old. And I always hark back to the fact that that's when my career started, really, because I was promoting and supporting, another team that way. And for me, it's deeply in my DNA. But I also see that a lot of the entrepreneurs that I work with, maybe they're engineers, especially those, folks with the original ideas, are often engineers. And it's amazing how much they learn. And it's really, really important to be able to market, or at least position and message around your value proposition as a company. So you as a founder need to become a marketer. You need to become one of, if not your best salesperson, because that really sets a tone, and you're going to need to leverage these marketing and communications and sales skills throughout the course of your business life cycle. Even if you step out and you step into more of a technical role or an operations role, what have you, you're going to need some baseline marketing skills. And once again, there are a lot of free resources out there. I'm going to mention another resource, and it's actually a company that we invested in for How Women Invest. We invested in a platform and community called Hello Alice. And what they're doing is for very early stage founders, there are all kinds of great resources in around capital and grants and loans, and then knowledge, classes and that sort of thing. So check out Hello Alice. It's an amazing community providing a ton of resources for early stage founders.
Um, Talking about marketing, I want to point out that, um, as mentioned before, the marketing always, this is my personal opinion, has to be connected to results. So if
Yeah.
let's say when you use Facebook ads, you need to find a way. So say, okay, if I put $1 in Facebook ads, if I'm selling something, that dollar will come back in 7 days or in 14 days. And I will be able to make a profit in the third week, in 21 days. If I'm able to do such a system, I can scale. I can put $10, so we'll have them back in a certain time frame, approximate, plus making a profit. Then, if the market allows, I can put 100, I can put 1,000. If I'm not doing like that, it becomes like a black hole. And I'm seeing that marketing is perceived like a foreign language, something. um it's even how to say, it's even harder to be digested than, let's say, writing code. It's a foreign language from the start. How do you think that this can be translated to regular people? Because most of the startup founders are regular people. As you mentioned, most of them are technical. They are
Yeah,
building something, they know the ins and outs, but is a very important skill to know how to market and how to sell it, because you can always find very easy a technical team to help you to build the product, but to market and to sell it, this is something very, very specific, and
yeah,
very few people can do it. So how do you translate marketing to early stage founders?
yeah. It's, you know what, Adrian, that's a problem or a challenge for people at every stage, right? Translating the value and value propositions of their offerings. And I mean, I'm working with, you know, C stage companies, CD, that are positioning for an IPO that don't even really have their positioning down. You know, they have a phenomenal product, and it fits the market, but they really don't even have their positioning down. So it's really an imperative to determine the right positioning for your company, for your product, even for your team members, right? Because their stories need to be told as well, so that they're believable and thought leaders and founders. So, and it's not, positioning and messaging are challenging. It's what's kept me in business, is helping to translate the value propositions of companies and products for years and years. And there's no sort of magic class or process. It's at least the minimum, doing really good research to know what others are communicating about their businesses. That baseline research is an imperative. You should know what every mind share and wallet share competitor is communicating about themselves, and you should know where you fit in that ecosystem, and be able to clearly articulate your value and your differentiation. And that's an imperative of you know um, positioning and messaging. um, because, and then it's a really important imperative to truly understand your audience and their needs. And once you can translate that, then you start to nail it in terms of your marketing. I mean, I think I see too many entrepreneurs go to market and start to market when they don't really understand their audiences and what drives them, and they don't know how to, they're not articulating their value proposition successfully. So I encourage people to find online resources and go back. Excuse me, I have a little tickle in my throat.
No worries.
And determine, and find that market position.
To add to what you've just said, um, the positioning is very important, because when you position your startup or your product or your service, in the same time you target what is called the ideal buyer persona. And these are very important, because once once you understand who your customer is, it works very well for business to consumer, but also to business, because you have the type of company which is your ideal client. But for the sake of the example, let's consider business to consumer. We create a profile with your target client, your ideal client, which could be a man or a woman, or could be both, could be of course two of them, with a certain income, certain jobs, certain I don't know, music. They like certain books they read, certain magazines they read, and so on. You can put a name on those people, and we as marketers, we know what's inside the head of these people, which is very weird. We know um, to research what kind of thoughts are keeping them awake during the night, what kind of fears do they have, so we can address in the communication those things. And what happens
Right.
when you scroll, let's say Facebook, and you see so many things, you see something, you see a message relating to one of the thoughts in the back of your head. This is called a hook in our marketing world. You see a hook, you stop scrolling, you go there, you start I don't know, opening, reading, doing something. You maybe see a story, and after that an offer, or to sign up to something. um how important are these processes to be taken into consideration by startups? Because some, they will say, okay, I will put an article there, and they will find the email on the website, and they will get in touch. Instead of saying, okay, I'm putting the article, at the end I'm putting a link, they sign up, they enter into the database, we start sending automated messages, and so on. How important is to use those processes in marketing? Is it
It's
important or
it's
not?
an it's so important. What you brought out, what you brought to light, Adrian, is the importance of the buyer personas. Like I used to, back in the day, just literally go through a mindset of what is that ideal customer like, and imagine how to get into the hearts and minds of that audience through the course of their day. What are they reading? What do they care about? What problems are they trying to solve on a daily basis? How much time do they actually have to ingest a message, during the course of their day? And then you have to realize that it used to be that you only needed to have 7 touch points, in terms of 7 different points to introduce them to your company, your product, your service. Now it requires so many more than that. You know, you need 70 touch points at this point. And so, and the key is you got to understand who that is. This is why we're we're doing this class tomorrow on driving
I believe we have a small connection problem. Are you back, Nicole? um until Nicole will be back, I will take over. The idea with ideal customer persona is very important, because once you drill down your audience, you are able to address it very specifically, saying that, okay, my product is for everybody, and my service is for everybody. Even, let's say, if you sell bread, people have different tastes. So if you sell a certain type of bread or different types of bread, you need to address different type of audiences based on the diet they are having. It's the same with software, or let's say, let's take an example very close to the marketing of startups, of a funnel builder platform. Welcome back, Nicole. I
Apologies, I'm
was
not sure what happened
it
technically.
it it happens. It's the internet. I,
That's
I
right.
I was saying that it's a mistake to say that, okay, my product is for everybody, or my
Yes.
services for everybody. And I wanted to use, I've used initially the example of bread, and after that I'm using the example of, let's say, funnel builders. There are many funnel building platform, but they are
Hmm.
addressing usually different types of entrepreneurs. Some funnel builders are specialized for software as a service type of entrepreneurs. Other are tailored to authors, or to speakers, or to content creators. So these funnel builders, in order to promote themselves, they need to drill down their audience, so to market correctly to to the proper market. So please continue your ideas before the internet breakdown.
Um, you know what? I'm not exactly sure where I was, quite honestly,
It
but
it 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 was about the ideal buyer persona. It was around that.
yeah, I mean, in the end, it's just so critical to deeply understand the the buyer, you know, your audience, and what are the different touch points that may actually reach them in the course of their day. And it's critical to think that through. And you're exactly 110% right on that, Adrian, that you cannot ever think that I cannot tell you how many times entrepreneurs come to me and they say they think their audience is so huge, and it's like, if you can't identify not just the total addressable market, okay, great, yes, but who is the actual serviceable market? Like, who is that core audience? You're going to waste just marketing resources and dollars. You're going to think that marketing tactics and strategies don't work unless you really have your audiences identified. And 9 times out of 10, you're not just catering to one audience. You know, people often ask me, "Oh, can I communicate to all my different stakeholders in the same way? My customers, my investors, my employees or potential employees, my partners." And yes, you need to, in some ways, be able to have messages that describe your business at its core, and products at its core, so that each of those audiences understand that. But then when it comes to marketing them to them or driving them to action, yes, there are very different tactics, and it's different language that you use. You're not going to use the same language appealing to an investor that you are appealing to a potential customer, uh, typically. So yeah, it's critical to, you know, really understand your audience, and understand what drives them.
Just to give an example, this is called calibration, because when you go to an event to speak about a topic, if in the room you have accountants, you need to use certain language and certain slang to be understood. If
Yeah,
you have in the room car mechanics, you need to use a total different slang, because otherwise you will speak a foreign language, even if you speak in English and they understand English. So
yeah,
the same with an investor, you have to use certain words, certain topics, and maybe certain stories. With your clients, actually you need to do to do something else. So marketing is is an art and a science in the same time. It's a
Yes.
masterpiece when you create a marketing campaign and it works. It's a nightmare when it doesn't work. The thing is that what so many startup founders are doing wrong is that they don't test the concept before creating the
Yes.
product, because
Yeah.
it's very easy today to actually test the waters, to put like a seed
So
campaign
inexpensive.
around an idea to see if that idea would stick or not. They prefer to spend a year to build a product without not being sure, without having a clue if that idea will stick or not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
besides, of course, money and resources, they waste time, and you can make more money, but you can't make more time.
And
Maybe
you can de-risk your go-to-market. Yeah, I second the importance of testing. And you can test and test and test along the way so inexpensively. Like spend, $100, $200 getting something out there in a campaign and testing, A/B testing. It's so valuable to get that feedback along the way. And Adrian, the other thing that I've done a lot with earlier stage entrepreneurs is just literally sitting side by side with customers, right, in their process. So maybe you identify a couple of beta or potential people who have expressed interest and desire in what you're building, right? Because you're hopefully having initial conversations with friendlies and people who will give you feedback. And then I've literally had teams just sit side by side with their customer to lead them through their technology, their service, and get that kind of feedback and offer the product for free to them, giving them value, but you're also getting some great insight. And a lot of times, if you invest the time with those initial beta testers and customers, they're with you in the journey, and a lot of times they'll be great case studies for you later, or they'll give you testimonials, things like that that can be very helpful to the marketing process later. So I encourage people to really dive in, sit side by side with their customers and beta testers and those folks early on, provide something of value to them, and just ask for their insights and feedback along the way.
thank you very much, Nicole, for the insights. We are
Yeah.
going towards the closing time for the session.
Okay.
Which are your um, last words on the marketing for startups, especially early stage startups? I didn't want to repeat closing thoughts, so that's why I said last words. But I was meaning closing thoughts, not to repeat the same words. And of
Yeah.
course, when people can find you.
Yes. So thank you. Yeah, I I I often say this and I mean it. Find a way to fall in love with your business every day. It's one of the hardest things to do as an entrepreneur, but find a way to just really fall in love with different aspects of your business, your product, what you're doing every day. It'll help you get through the rough days, you know? And so that's something that I think is really important. And the other thought is really understand your audience. Know who you're talking to. Get into the hearts and minds of your core audiences. It'll serve you well through the duration of your business. And in terms of finding me, my company is Outfront Solutions. It's outfront.solutions. There's no .com. And I love it if people follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook. and Twitter, we're always providing free resources and want to continue to provide value and free resources to this community. So join us in community. I hope to see you here, back here at LA Token, and you know, um, at some of the classes we're teaching, and just stay in touch. Send me a message on LinkedIn, say you saw me here, Twitter, what have you.
Um, Thank you very much. I will also add my closing thoughts. It will They will be regarding the free resources and how important are these free resources for anything you are selling. Offering something for free, usually it happens that some clients not to value what is free, but the smart ones or the ideal types of clients you want to work with will study these free resources, which are the entry point to start a conversation and maybe a purchase process with you. And if those free resources are good, they will think, especially if they are your type of ideal customers, they will think, okay, if this free resource is so good, it means that the paid products are even better. And it's one thing I've learned to the pains of growing as a marketer and as an entrepreneur is that not all the people or all the clients, all the leads who will get in touch with you will become free. Okay, so not all of them will pay you. You have the possibility and the opportunity to serve very well the clients who will pay you, but why not also serving pretty well the ones who maybe can't become your customers right now? Maybe they will share the resources to their peers, so they will become like ambassadors, bringing you other clients. Why not doing that? Because by doing this way, you will select to become your customers the best ones. It works very well. And also you trigger a very important a thing in marketing called reciprocity. You give, 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 and somehow sooner or later the ones who are digesting your free stuff will feel an urge to come back to you and to give you something back, which usually means sharing your content to other people, referring customers to you, and even becoming customers themselves. I'm Edwin Niculescu. You can find me on LinkedIn and many other places. I want to thank you again, Nicole, for coming to the show today. I want to
My great
also
pleasure.
I want to also thank La Token team for putting this educational resource together, and to the audience for investing their time in upgrading their skills about marketing their startups. And we'll see each other over the next few sessions. Have a great day, everybody.